will call the meeting to order. Jen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Corbin?
Here.
Commissioner Thorough?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Mayor Lindsay?
Here. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under appearances and acknowledgements, we have Brad Wilson here from Insurance Benefits from the South Dakota Municipal League to give us a presentation on workman's comp. So with that, thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Lindsay. As you said, my name is Brad Wilson. I'm the administrator for the SDML Workers' Compensation Fund. We provide the work comp coverage for the City of Madison and 446 other public entities in the state. We are celebrating our 30-year anniversary this year, and as part of that, we are recognizing our members who have been with us and been longtime members. And Madison was one of the first, member number 6. So since January 1st, 1987. So I just have a plaque that is just a thank you and recognition from our Board of Trustees who are made up of other public officials. And just a thank you for your long-term membership and thanks for being with us.
Very good.
Mary, do you mind if I bring this up to you?
Very nice. Thank you.
Maybe give it to Jen for safekeeping?
Sure. No, very nice. On behalf of the city, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whoops.
Appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
Thanks. Jen?
We can set it there maybe since Kelly isn't here at the moment. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Number 2, acknowledge a request for a change in zoning ordinance. And Chad, did you want to speak to that? I'm not recognizing anyone else in the audience.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
In the agenda packet is a letter from Monica and Bill Pickard and an attached sketch. Ms. Pickard has asked in the letter to make a change to the zoning ordinance as it relates to some property that they are in the process of acquiring, which will allow them to do some things that they would like to do at the old Garfield School building. At this point, this will come back before you. Should you opt at this time to refer it to the Planning Commission to go through potential change to the zoning ordinance to implement, i.e. to implement the change she's requesting. She's asking that twin homes be added to an overlay district that is anticipated to be overlaid onto the property where Garfield School, the former Garfield School was located. So at this point, the letter stands for itself. You've had a chance to review that. I would ask that you refer this to the Planning Commission and for their discussion, and they'll have a hearing. And then when and if this comes forth to you after their hearing, you'll have a first and second reading to consider that as well. And we've already been reviewing and working with the couple of owners here related to this existing and potential future owner on this proposal. So we've been working through this quite a bit already. So.
And I visited with you quite a bit, so do any of the commissioners have any questions?
Do we just acknowledge this tonight, or we don't have to, like, officially or make a motion to move it to the planning? I mean,
You know,
because it's here for just acknowledgement, and
we really don't have this set up in any way in our ordinance. This is the process for this type of thing. This is likened to a citizen coming in with a concern that I'd like you to consider doing this or doing that, and so a simple referral, I suspect would suffice.
I think our process is that they go to the planning commission.
Yeah,
and
that
then
is
it
the
comes
normal.
to us, so.
Right.
Make a motion to recommend it go to the planning. Does that sound like
I think that would
reasonable? What's
that
your-
would
in your
suffice.
thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're seeing it because it's actually a zoning change. This is kind of beyond what we normally do.
How'd you do it with the other 2 schools at like Lincoln and Washington? How'd you do that when they wanted to remodel?
Well, a couple things that are different. Garfield took place, any changes to that took place prior to me being here, but I did review the records, and they made a request back in '04 to change that from residential to general business. And so the other two buildings, there was no such change. They're still residential right now. And so then their uses that they had in them, they never got changed to business. So this residential use wouldn't have to be changed or addressed in this manner.
I think it's nice that we can accommodate this. I'm glad the planning commission can dig into the bowels of it and get to the bottom of it. I'm sure they'll do what's best for our community, but.
I'll make a motion that we acknowledge the request for a change in zoning ordinance, and then ask that it goes to the planning committee.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Chad. Is there anything anyone wants removed from the consent calendar?
Make a motion, we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under old business, 5:35 p.m., hearing on the sidewalk improvement and repair assessment rolls. And again, I'll ask Chad if you want to address that.
I can say a few words, and then Jen may also
Okay.
have a few words. I filed an assessment roll with the finance office on July 28th for the property owners who, where the city installed sidewalk adjacent to the property. And per statute, this is the mechanism, if you will, that the city uses per state law to recoup those costs. After I file that with the finance officer, in this case Jen would take a couple of other steps to actually make this official, if you will, and before it's actually finalized and sent over to the county. And I glazed over a couple steps. Jen, maybe you want to touch on some of your steps in more detail?
Okay. We're just to the point this evening where we have the public hearing. So first we would hold the public hearing. If there's anybody who wants to speak to any of either or the sidewalk improvement 2016 or the sidewalk repair improvement 2016, I think we should hear those now,
Yes.
and then we would move into the potential adoptions of the two resolutions that correspond to the hearing.
Is there anyone from the audience in that wanted to speak on either the sidewalk improvement program or the repair assessment rolls this evening? Yes, sir. Would you step up to the mic, and that, Dwayne, and say your name and
I
then.
need to step up the mic. I can
Well,
be heard.
But
yeah.
we can hear you, but this is recorded.
All right.
And so the concern comes from people at home who want to listen
Sure.
to it. So.
Well, the problem I have with it is I don't know what the tensile strength or anything like that is that this company AB or whatever it is putting into our community. It looks totally different from anything that any of our private contractors put in. It's totally white.
Chad,
Now,
do you have any information on
tensile
that?
strength, I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. The specifications that we have for this are our standard specifications. We require a mixed design be provided that both the contractors who are putting in privately or our contractor puts in, and that's
No, look at me when you're talking, please, because I want to know what everything's going on here, because you can talk to Roy, I'm fine with that, but is it a 1 to 3 or what is it, 1 to 2?
Yes, thank you. I will address you and Roy.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with it either, but just
So it's a 4,000 psi mix, 4
Okay.
inches thick, and there's white cure placed on the top of the concrete, again per typical concrete sidewalk standards. Same as what's done, has been done for years, what's done with similar DOT type projects.
Okay.
So we inspect it when they're putting it in, and I haven't noticed any deviations.
I don't have a problem with that, but I've never seen anybody inspecting it after it's been put in.
Okay, well,
And there was some that was done just a half a block from me that wasn't inspected. And then there was some to the south of me where, according to what an individual told me, you had to follow the contour of it and it wasn't.
I can tell you, we inspect our standards when we're available. We have
Well,
we have a lot of other projects going on at the same time.
Sure.
There's a warranty for these projects, if there's any defects within a year.
What's the
This is
warranty?
standard construction process.
But what does the warranty mean?
1 year, if there's cracks, typically within the 1 year, they're inspected prior to that time, and the contractor will come and tear them out and repair them.
This is South Dakota, though. We have a freeze and a thaw. Concrete is
Well,
going
like that.
to crack,
Absolutely.
and it's going to crack before the first year, because I had some in my backyard paved, and it cracked.
Yep, concrete's gonna do two things, get hard and crack.
Yep.
I guarantee you that.
Yep, no, I agree with that, 100%.
Yeah, so, if it cracks and is displaced, they'll be called and they'll have to replace it for warranty inspections. Concrete moves over time with different soil conditions and such like that. You'll notice that all over town, trees and such like that. We have reasonable standards, like every other community in the state of South Dakota.
But
We have
I've
a similar
never
process.
seen this crew laying a base sand. You know, what I'm speaking of is that when you dig everything out, you lay down a base sand. I have never seen that.
I think our standard is 3 inches, isn't it?
I believe that is correct, yeah.
Right,
So there should be 3 inches of sand underneath the concrete.
There should
before the
be.
concrete's poured.
yeah,
Okay?
there should be. But I've never seen them bring any sand in, or whatever you want to call aggregate or anything like that. I've never seen them bring any in.
Okay, and which company is this you're referring to?
AB,
AB?
yeah.
Okay,
We've observed them bringing in sand,
okay.
or, well, not sand, it's actually a gravel-based brush type material. Has some crushed aggregates in it.
Okay.
Well, I'm not saying they haven't brought it in, but they didn't bring it in this block, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Hey, well, I guess the thing we can do is have Chad and Ryan,
Mhm.
check into it.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Because-
I'm not here complaining about it because I think
Sure.
we need the sidewalks and everything like that. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But it needs to meet the quality that you guys have set forth.
Very true, very true.
And so that's what we're looking at,
Mhm.
or that's what I'm looking at.
Mhm.
Because I was gonna have them come and do a couple chunks out of my sidewalk, but they haven't been X'd yet.
Okay,
Yet.
yeah.
They probably will be.
Well, it depends on, on our inspection.
Well, there's
it
no
depends on-
unevenness.
Yeah, no, it depends on the
Right.
amount of unevenness. right.
There's no unevenness, but it's just the idea that it's starting, so the surface comes off of it, and then
Yes.
the chip is there and stuff like that,
Yes,
and that's why I like to replace it. And so I'll probably replace it myself, but,
well, and then we do have other sidewalk contractors in town too. That's why I asked you, which one.
oh, well, I've dealt with 2 or 3 over the years,
Okay.
so, and they're not just sidewalk contractors, they do a lot of other
They
things.
do, yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
so,
All right. Any other questions or comment?
no, I don't have any other, I do have one thing. This goes on the tax rolls of these people that can't afford to do it by themselves, correct?
Or they choose not to pick someone and choose to let the city's
Okay.
person that got the low bid
Okay.
be the one to install it.
And so, what is the low bid to do this?
I'd have to defer to Chad.
Yeah, and that's a good point. The one thing, what you're talking about, sir, is this year's project that we're building as we speak.
But we started this project, 3-4 years ago?
Sidewalk replacement?
Yes.
Or
Sidewalk
installation?
replacement.
Sidewalk repair was started at least,
At least about 7 years ago.
yeah, about 7 years ago.
Okay, okay.
This,
And then the initial sidewalk program began with Mayor Huners.
Okay,
So,
all right. Okay.
this project here that is on the agenda was for work that was actually completed mostly in 2016. There was some
2016.
carryover in 17. And that was accomplished by ACS Contracting. It's in the assessment roll, but their price for new sidewalk was $4.80 per square foot, and 4 inch. And for remove and replace was $6.30. Excuse me, no, that was for 6 inch. For the repair, remove and replace was $6.41. So again, this was ACS, a local contractor that was hired, and the work was done last year. There was a few carryover properties this year. What you're talking about is the contractor we had doing the work.
This year.
Correct, yes.
And
So it's
they're not-
two different things, but yeah, it's commonly, these things blend over a couple of years and such like that.
Well, I'm not worried about blending. I just want to know what's going on now. And so what does it cost per foot with removal and everything?
Again, with this, I don't have this year's price off the top of my head. I have it in my files, of course. But for remove and replace, $6.88 per square foot for 6 inch, $6.41 per square foot for 4 inch. And then for removal is $4.80, excuse me, just for new, $4.80.
So roughly $12 a square foot?
Times 4.67. $22.42 per running foot.
Per running
for
foot.
new sidewalk, brand new sidewalk, not
Okay, so 3 feet's going to cost you what?
$67.25.
Is that higher what our local contractors can do?
I believe it's right in the range. You know, we're required to bid these projects and take the low bid by state law.
Okay.
So they have their different items that are required, bonding and insurance and such like that, which the local contractors may or may not have.
Sure.
When they work for a private citizen.
AB is bonded?
Correct, yes. They've submitted the bonding and insurance certificates per state statute.
Which are on file with the city?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that wanted to speak on either the sidewalk improvement program or the sidewalk repair program assessment rules? Okay, and if not, then we'll move on to new business. Resolution 2017-13, adopt the assessment roll and levy assessments for the sidewalk improvement program 2016. And unless anyone has any additional questions, I think Chad probably answered it just a few minutes ago.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2017-13, adopt assessment roll and levy assessments for sidewalk improvement 2016.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution number 2017-14, adopt the assessment roll and levy assessments for the sidewalk repair improvement program from 2016.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 2017-14, adopt assessment roll and levy assessments for sidewalk repair improvement 2016.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support for the Madison Housing and Redevelopment Commission for the redevelopment and the RAD rental assistance demonstration conversion of the Lakeview Tower. And with that, I'm going to ask Brenda Strum and Scott Johnson if they would come up where the audience could hear and give a presentation.
Bring whoever you want.
Bring whoever you want.
Yeah.
Tim, if you want to join them, go for it. Yeah. See? Very good. Go ahead, Brenda, do you want to start? Scott, whoever? Go
All
for
right,
it.
I'm Scott with Madison Housing, and Tim, he's on the board too, Wahlberg. And Brenda's our director, and she could probably give you more information than we can. She's up on it better.
Brenda, would you go ahead and explain it so the commissioners and that, I've been involved in that, but they have not.
Okay, so we are looking to do some remodel of the Lakeview Tower. So currently the Lakeview Tower is public housing. So in the public housing world, Congress is not too thrilled with this program. They are looking for public housing to find ways to get out of this program. So HUD came up with this new program. It's called Rental Assistance Demonstration, or RAD. So what this program is, it gives public housing authorities a way out of it. So we can go into the private sector world and get loans. We can go find other means to get funds to redo our public housing units. So currently how we get funded, we get capital funds. Capital funds is like if we put in like a work order to HUD saying we need to like fix our roof, we need to fix our plumbing. So all the housing authorities across the United States put in these work orders to HUD saying we need to fix these. Currently right now, HUD is $26 billion behind in capital funds. For 2017, they added $1.9 million to those capital funds. They are $3.9 billion behind for 2017. A little bit of a deficit there. There's no way they will ever catch up in this $26 billion work order deficit that they have. So they are pushing these public housing authorities to go with RAD. So with our RAD program, we can apply for tax credits, housing trust funds out of South Dakota Housing, all of these wonderful programs. And with these programs, we can remodel the Lakeview Tower, keep it in low-income housing for years to come, and it's only going to benefit the, Madison and everybody for years to come. So we are seeking support from the City of Madison to do this program to benefit the Lakeview Tower and the City of Madison.
And I can add this to this and that. I've kind of put Brenda through the grill.
It's quite all right.
Because I wanted to make sure that the City of Madison, and that wasn't, that we weren't going to start into some program, and then the City of Madison have to pick up the difference. So we had a conference call with Peter Lavavi, who's with RAD, and with Janice, and I didn't get her last name, out of Denver.
Janice Rodriguez is the
Yes.
head of public housing out of HUD Denver, and Peter Levivi is our developer who is helping us with our RAD program. He's with Brinshore Developers out of Illinois.
Yes. So anyway, I had a lot of questions, and the board was there, and I was there, and we got a lot of those questions answered. And so HUD out of Denver has been working with Brenda and the board and that in this process of developing it, to move forward and get these tax credits. Now, I looked at tax credits from an individual standpoint, that why would you spend $1 and then only get to save 36 cents? But that isn't how this program works. Congress has it set up to where this is only available for corporations. And a corporation that puts money into this RAD program for public housing gets a dollar-for-dollar deduction for the renovation, and they also get any depreciation or other expenses that go along with it. So on this particular program, one of the interested parties in working with them on this is Citibank. So Citibank is a corporation that can put money into the RAD program and get a dollar-for-dollar plus depreciation and other expenses as a deduction in that, within their income corporate structure, and that for tax purposes. So it answered a lot of questions that I had, and I'm to the point where I think, that I'm comfortable with them moving forward with this. The other thing is, it's an application. And the only thing we're really approving tonight is the application. Because there were 15 that applied last year, only 5 that actually got it.
It's
So
a very
just,
competitive market. Yep, we
Yes.
apply to South Dakota Housing. Our application is due by August 31st at 5 p.m. It has to be in Pier by then.
yes. And in order to meet everything in that, today is a crucial decision in that, and things need to be mailed actually tomorrow. They were hoping to have been here 2 weeks ago, but I had too many questions that needed to be answered, so we met and went through all of this. And so now I have a better understanding of what it is, and I feel very comfortable that the citizens are going to benefit, not get hurt by this process.
And basically, we're giving a letter of support for your
A letter of
application.
support,
For our-
We're
yes.
not approving the application. That's
Right, no,
your guys'
South Dakota
job.
It's a letter
Housing,
of support.
Scott Rounds is the
Terminology, but I
one.
guess- Yep.
Yep, Scott Rounds will be the one, and their team out at South Dakota Housing who will approve the application
Yep.
or deny the application. Yes.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support for Madison Housing Redevelopment Commission for the redevelopment and RAD conversion of Lakeview Tower.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And I
Those
would
opposed,
also
same sign.
like to invite
Motion
any
carries.
commissioners at any time. If we do get approved, I will let you know at any time. If you have any questions, I am open at any time for you to come see us, come email me, call me at any time. I'm available for any questions at
It's a
any
good
time.
service, it's needed in our
Yes,
community.
and it will be,
Thank you, board members.
we will
too.
be adding more 2 bedrooms, adding some more handicap units, and just updating, and that building will be here for many, many years to come, way more than I will be here, so,
And-
just so you know.
And the plumbing and the electrical.
Yes, all the non-cosmetics you can see besides many cosmetic things that will be added to it. So it will be a good thing for those that are needed, so.
Well,
Very
thanks.
good. Thank you.
Thank
Again,
you.
we thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for that.
And sorry I put you through so many questions.
And I'm sorry I put you right back. So, how soon
But at
can I
least
get
we-
that letter?
Well, tomorrow morning work?
I will be here at 8 a.m.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Thank you again.
Number 4, authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1 with CO Pros, Surfacing Improvement Project 2017-3. And Chad, I'm going to ask you if you'll address this, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The change order you see in your agenda packet, there's 2 pages dealing with the surfacing project from Division Avenue to Airport Road. We've done some destructive testing, or we've removed some sections of pavement to look at some of the joints, the transverse joints on the roadway, and determined that the joints weren't in as bad a shape as we had thought. And so that changed some the way we're approaching a few things on the project. But the other thing that we ascertained during that testing is that the pavement that's in place is a little bit, the asphalt pavement on top of the concrete is thicker than what the underlying DOT plans shown, which was the basis for the development of our plan. We had planned to be milling off 3 inches of asphalt for a portion of the road, but it's actually about 4 to 4.5 inches thick. So we have to get down to, we want to get down to the concrete. We don't have to, but I believe that's the best way to pursue that. So there's an additional cost for the miller to mill extra depth, but then also to haul that extra material away and such. So extra work item A on this document shows the costs for doing that extra milling. It's about $7,500. And actually that cost is not just the incremental cost for the extra 1.5 inches, that's the full 4.5 inches. The item above it, existing bid item number 4, that's what we would have paid had it been just 3 inches, just under $5,000. So when you do the difference, the net between the two is about $2,500. And that's to mill up in a 7-foot wide strip all the way along the project and then back over top of the longitudinal joint that is in disrepair. The next item on there is full milling of 1.5 inches, and that is necessary to take that surfacing section, which is not 3 inches anymore, as I mentioned, it's 4.5. We want to mill out the top 1.5 inches, which includes some chip seals and such like that, and perhaps some poorer surfacing material at those transverse joints, get it down to some sound material, and then also plane it, plane the surface to make sure it's very smooth. And so that cost for milling that 1.5 inches off for up and back, about 14 feet wide, is about just under $5,200. So when you take the 2 increases and the decrease on this proposed, the net is just under $7,700, $7,680.11 to be exact. I would recommend that we make this change. The contractor, I believe, has been fair in the negotiating of these prices when comparing to other regional prices that have been done, and also in comparison to some of the prices we already had bid on the project. And this will give us the best product, I believe, for this maintenance and rehab project going forward.
Any questions or comments?
Is this going to affect the completion date of the project?
No. I did not change the completion date, nor did the contractor ask to change the completion date. They will have that mill here. He's going to be here for, usually they come in and out pretty quickly, but limited or minimal additional time. We did not change the completion date as part of this. They signed the change order. It won't change the completion date.
We'll still keep the road open?
That's the plan. It's added challenges, but there's really no good detour routes for this road, and so that's the way they bid it, and that's how we thought was the most appropriate to keep those landowners in and out as best as we can. We probably pay a little bit more for the project, just close it down, we can get in there and get out. But we believe that was the best way to proceed, and it's not going to change the timeline. I should note, many in the community probably are aware, the contractor had some pretty significant miscommunications between their subcontractors and such. They opened this project up, closed it down, started the work, I refer to that as opening it up, on a Monday. I checked with them as late as Friday afternoon to say, no, we're sure that they're going to start this work and commence. They said absolutely. And of course it's been 2 weeks really since there's been, and almost 3 since there's been any amount of work there. Just make it known to you, there is a day count that we have on this initial phase. Once they go past the day count, they're paying liquidated damages per day. They're well aware of that. It's very frustrating for my office, but they haven't been able to perform how I'd like up to this point. But
And very frustrating for people driving down Division.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So they're looking to start this week with some more substantial work. You've seen them out there this last week. They started doing some more minor work, but they haven't got that pavement back in, the concrete pavement. I would recommend approval of the change order.
$7,680.11.
That's correct.
Don't need any more?
Pardon?
Don't need any more?
No.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1, Sil Pros Incorporated Surfacing Improvement Project 2017-3 in the amount of $7,680.11.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign a services agreement with RS Architects, City Hall Study Phase 1. And I'll ask either Chad or Jen. Jen, did you want to address this?
I will take the lead on this, talking you through the scope of service with the support of Chief Meyer in the audience and also Engineer Comas beside me here. Detailing the scope of service, or the scope of work that you have in front of you. This said services agreement would study options for renovation, expansion, or replacement of our current City Hall. We'll start by gathering the information on the needs of the various departments. From there, 3 things will be accomplished. Needed space will be compared to the space available in the current building. Should the space available exceed the program space, layout options will be generated and costs applied for the remodeling. Number 2, should the program space exceed needs, the capacity of the existing City Hall, the building to the west will be studied for its potential use of City Hall space. The existing City Armory will also be investigated for support space. And then finally, the cost of the various renovation options will be compared to a new facility to be located on city-owned land. So basically studying 3 different options. The study would be complete by January 1st of 2018 for a cost of $4,800, which is well within the budgeted line item that we had budgeted last year at this time for such a service.
Questions or comments?
I think it's a good move, get our arms around what it could potentially cost. This building served the community for a long time.
Yeah, the only way that we can make good decisions is to have good data, and having these folks come in and do the homework and provide us with this information and this data. It's certainly going to help us, my opinion of it.
Yeah, you got to have architects if you're going to get into these older buildings and remodel and stuff. You got to have somebody that's got engineering background in electrical and water, and it's just all around a good move to do this.
Mr. Gary Stanley has been our contact person on this project. I understand he has done a lot of projects in town, well known around town. We're comfortable with that.
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign services agreement with RS Architects for City Hall Study Phase 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, under announcements, change in meeting date to September 5th. So Monday being a holiday and that, the commission will meet on Tuesday, September 5th. And seeing no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn the commission meeting and move into budget hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, with that,